Right? So I want you guys to really choose freely for yourself whether this is good or not, which is why if you interact with us, it's going to help us give you that. I know there's some nerves about that. You can chat in the box. If you really want to say hi, you can come out here and just talk with us. You know, hopefully your hair is done and whatever. We personally don't care. You can be in your pajamas right now. It's all good with us.
We are.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you guys at least one more minute to like mull it over in your minds and think if you want to ask any questions, because we have a small group here today and you're basically getting a private show with two guys who, but by many accounts, know what they're doing. So, you know, look, use this as a resource for yourself today. And otherwise, I'm just going to talk at you for like 15 minutes and then we'll hang up. Any questions, guys?
I'm curious, what brought you here? Like, why are you even looking at SFM? What's the thing you're looking to get out of it?
Yeah, and just know if you're waiting for somebody else to go first, everybody else is waiting for you to go first also. All right. So everyone's really, really mute and quiet. All right. Well, what do you want to say? And then I'll say something, and then we'll. Okay, cool. There we go from Mark. So Mark, you've spent 35 years in financial services. You don't have a product at this point, but you're considering your options. Want to hear what you do. Okay, awesome. Do you want to answer it?
Well, first of all, I will just start by saying this. You don't need a product. When we started doing this, we actually didn't start Satori Prime with the intention of doing anything that we were doing for the last 5 years. Like, it took us 5 years to kind of get back to what it is that we wanted to start doing in the first place. We are really, one of the things that lights us up is we love personal development. We love the whole mind game. We love training people on how to shut their monkey brain up and live lives that matter and live lives that they're passionate about and just be the best versions that they can be. We call it having it all. That's the life that we train our people to have. And when we joined a company, at the time it wasn't Six Figure Mentors, it was called Carbon Copy Pro. When we joined with the idea of like, we needed a marketing know-how to go and build the business that we wanted to build, which was a coaching business. And because we quickly realized, we're not going to walk around and be like, hey, do you want some coaching? So we started doing that and fell in love with marketing. Marketing for us it's really just applied psychology. It's understanding human behavior, what makes people tick. And so for us, our mission has always been, we built Satori Prime with one mission: to transform people's lives, right? To have people live lives that have it all. And that, I'll tell you, the biggest thing is freedom. Like, we started building this business because we wanted freedom. We wanted freedom from, both of us got wiped out in 2000. We actually lasted till 2010, but during the financial collapse, we ate it pretty bad. We both have pretty horrible war stories. And one of the things when we started building this was, how do we make sure this never happens again? And so it was freedom from having someone to rely on. It was freedom for being able to do what we wanted to do, being paid what we're worth, all of that kind of stuff. And what we realized quickly was that marketing was setting us free. Like, this type of education as a skill set was setting us free. Because if you know how to market, and all marketing is putting the right offer in front of the right person at the right time so that they take action. That's it. If you think about it from the olden days, it's like you're the middleman of society, right? China had spices. They wanted them in the Western world. You were the middleman that brought them. You were getting paid handsomely, right? And so when you understand this, you can start putting yourself in the middle of a lot of different things. And Mark, I think it was, let me just double check. It was Mark, yeah. So to answer your question, you don't need a product. You just need to understand how to put the right thing in front of the right person. Just so you guys understand, whether you buy something on Amazon or eBay or any of the other websites, there is someone that got you to that website, whether you clicked on a link or read an article, a review, whether you bought a book, it doesn't matter. Like someone made some sort of percentage of that sale and you don't even know who they are. And what we quickly realized was if we have that skill set, we can do anything. Because no matter what the right now it's like, say, Facebook and Google and YouTube, but that's going to evolve, right? If you understand how that science of it works, then people will always need that person, right? And we fell in love with it. And we realized it was really setting ourselves free. And if our mission was to wake people up and transform their lives, we're like, you know what, guys? If you learn this skill, this is really, really useful. And whether it takes you a year or 2 or 3 to learn it, to go from a job that you hate or a situation or circumstance that you want to get out of to in a year, 2 or 3, completely changing your life, being able to travel with your family whenever you want, making money while you're anywhere in the world, like that really sets you apart. And that really creates an incredible lifestyle for you. For me, I'll tell you one of the biggest things. I actually made a video about this today. I'm happy to share with you guys. Someone asked me, like, what does this whole digital life mean to me? And for me, I created this life so I can be around with my kids, period. And the other day, I'm driving my son Shia to school, and he's asking me about a friend of his who he doesn't get to see his father because his father's working. And he's like, I thought people work from home. And I had to it was like a weird conversation to have with my 5-year-old son because that's how he's grown up. Like, I'm always here, right? He comes, he runs downstairs in my office. I'll eat lunch with them. I'll take him to the park in the middle of the day. For me, that's worth millions. Like, it's not, I mean, the money's nice, don't get me wrong. But for me, that's everything. And I just don't know how many other opportunities you have that you can build that kind of lifestyle in this shorter period of time, on your own terms and doing what you love. So, is marketing sexy? Like, no, but is learning how to do anything sexy? If you're an accountant, for most people crunching numbers and sitting there, that's not sexy. But it pays your bills and it gives you a certain lifestyle. There's Dr. Villa here who, spent many, many years learning a craft of being a doctor. And I'm sure with that comes some great benefits and also some incredible hardships. I know doctors are eating it pretty hard today. This for me is just like, if you're going to spend your time and money doing anything and you're interested in freedom, you should really take a very, very long, hard look at something like this.
Yep. That was a good overview. And I think that's a really great question to ask yourself. It's, regardless of whether you're here for money or I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to freedom. Everyone we talk to, they're just looking to access more freedom in their life. That could be time, that could be money, that could be spending time with family members, like Elon said. For me, it was having a really flexible lifestyle to live on both coasts of the country. So I live in San Diego. That's kind of my home base, but my family's back out in New York where Elon is. And I'm in New York like every 2 months or so, right? Mm-hmm. Or at least 2 weeks, give or take. So it gives me that flexibility. This year I've been to Colombia. We put on a live event here in La Jolla that was 8 days long. We went to Israel. We were just in Spain. I traveled to the Grand Canyon for a week. Like, for me, that's freedom. I just came back from San Francisco for 10 days for a training, and I don't have to ask people for time off. I don't have to make excuses. We're still making money while that stuff is happening. And that's not a pipe dream. Did we invest time and our money to understand and learn how to do that? Absolutely. Yeah. Were there challenges? Without a doubt. Were there moments we were overwhelmed and frustrated? Of course. And that's like anything you take on. So we implore you that if you do this, if you're going to take this path down, first of all, there's a vision of a life that most people can't even perceive as possible. We know plenty of people who are at least 20 years, 45, 40 years old. Honestly, even in our company, we have kids who are mid-20s who just hit their $1 million mark in 14 months since they really started making money till right now, about 14 months to make $1 million, who travel all the time, like nonstop. And we know we have friends, Greg and Fiona, who I think are in their early 50s, who are based in the UK, but who probably travel 10 months out of the year and have a full-time sustainable business doing this and live the way that most retired people wish that they could in the best years of their lives before they have any, health issues or conditions or blah, blah, blah. They're actually living that way. So is that possible for anybody? It is possible for anybody. Does everybody do it? No. And for those that don't, it's because they don't really take the opportunity in front of them and treat it like a serious business. They start treating it like it's a hobby, and they get the hobby results. So you're gonna get out of it what you put into it. That's just what's so. I will say this for me, and then I'll shut up and we'll take whatever questions, comments you guys have. Given the amount that we've invested in making this business, time and money, if right now somebody offered me like a corporate job, let's say it was $250,000 a year, which by all accounts is a pretty nice income in the US, right? And they told me, well, you're going to have the 2-week vacation time. You're probably going to work your 70, 80 hours a week. And that would be my life. For me, that's not a quality life, right? Like being at work 80 hours a week, not a quality life. Having to take off 2 weeks out of the year for vacation where I can relax, not quality time for me. In contrast to somebody told me I can do this business, and in a year or two from now, I'll be making 60 to 75 grand a year, but I'll have complete autonomy over my life. I'll choose when I want to take time off. And look, if I want to stretch my dollars, I can go live in Thailand for 3 months, live there like a king for $5 grand a month or whatever, not even like $2,000 a month,
yeah.
Right? Like live like an absolute king, and then come back to the States and use my money. Like your life possibilities become available to you by function of doing this. And $75,000 a year is no chump change in the States either, depending on where you live. That could be like an amazing income. So if I was given that option and somebody said, well, that would be your life, I would take the lesser money immediately because the quality of my life would be there. So it depends on what your goals are. Elon and I are extremely value-driven people. It's why we do these webinars. Nobody asked us to do this. We're here just to be of service to you guys and at least share our experience with you so that you have insights into what's possible. What you do with that, that's your prerogative. Like we can't tell you what to do with this. And we're really lucky, I feel, that we found an industry and a business that allows our income to grow with the amount of value that we provide for people. Like the best gift in the world for me was when I found something that gave me the ability to give value to others while my income grew. So for us, we're always looking for how do we become more valuable to people and how do we give more value? And as we do that, and that's why we take classes and all sorts of different experiences, our income grows, and it's substantially grown over the last few years. And then from more like a logistics point of view, the really nice part, if you've been a business owner before, the really nice part about online business is no overhead. You don't have liabilities, you don't have to pay insurance, you don't have to do all the millions of ancillary things that comes along with a bricks and mortar business. In fact, up until about 3 months ago, Elon and I never hired a person to work in our business. And we've done multiple 7 figures, specifically in the last 2.5 years, where our company really started taking off. And this is the first time where we're kind of like unloading a lot of our workload to people that we're hiring on to be a part of the Satori Prime team. We've never had to do that before. So I want you to consider that, because 10, 20 years ago, it would never be possible to run a multiple 7-figure business with just 2 people. But with today's technology, the beauty about the internet and technology and all these things is you can create processes for everything. So if we find that there's something that we do day in and day out, okay, we can create an automated process that can duplicate that, which means that we don't have to be there for that process to run. And granted, if we need to step in, we will, but for the most part, that will take care of, freeing up time over here or freeing up time over here. So if you guys have read like the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, I don't know if I believe in the 4-Hour Work Week. I know that Elon and I could do that if we wanted to. For me, that's like, okay, the 164 more hours this week, like I'm going to be pretty bored if I have nothing to do. So like I enjoy the work, the people we work with, we care about, we make a difference with them. These are people that we know really well these days. And, we want to continue because it's a work of passion. We don't feel like it's work at all. So the way that happens is by creating systems that duplicate processes that you would do on your own. And that's available from technology. That's what's happening in manufacturing. It's what's happening in service industries. It's what's happening all over the world, which is why people can't find jobs. So if you want to look at it in an economical kind of way, what we're doing here is really the business of the future. I mean, it's the business of today also, but for a lot of people, it's the business of the future. Because when manufacturing, when service jobs, when robots start taking over everything, which they will, and that's coming like soon-ish, like 4 or 5 years from now, the only value as a person that I believe that we'll have to one another is helping each other grow in the areas of life that matter to us. And it's going to be from getting online and sharing your story and sharing your message and sharing your expertise with people who are interested in getting to where you are also. I would assert that's why most of you guys, if not all of you guys, are on this webinar here, because in some way, shape, or form, you know that we have authority in the space. So it's just giving that back over and over again. So we'll see what happens.
So, I don't know if it's I'm going to murder this, and I'm really sorry. Goes Lane.
Yeah.
So, you know, he said he's coming on here to find out a successful business idea. I'm going to reframe the question for you, okay? You guys are clear that you can make today literally any business idea successful. Like, I mean, think of anything that is out there. Someone built that into a business. I mean, you can create businesses today from anything. I will tell you to start asking a different question. The question is, what do I want to spend the rest of my life or the rest of my working life? And I will tell you that I personally believe, like, Guy and I will be doing this till the day we die. He started by saying, like, whether you join or not, or like, yeah, we make money. It doesn't make a difference in our lives. You have to get that. Like, we love what we do. Truly love what we do because we get to make a difference for people, and that's important to us. There's other people that love building businesses. There are other people that love giving joy to kids. There are other people that love taking care of other people. It doesn't matter what you do. If you find what it is that you're truly passionate about doing, you are going to make more money at it by the virtue of the fact that you are going to be willing to spend more time researching, learning, and getting better at that thing. It doesn't matter what you do, right? Like, you can literally make money doing anything. Guys used to say this thing. He goes, if you want to draw with crayons, you can invest your time and be the best crayon drawer on the planet. And you can turn that into a career today. There are 14, 15-year-old kids today who are massive DJs, like world-renowned DJs, because what they got passionate about was making music. And they got a laptop and some software, and they started making music. And now they're playing clubs all over the world. There are musicians, there are artists, there are marketing geniuses, there are authors, there are bloggers, there are podcasters making multiple 6, if not 7 figures doing what it is that they're passionate about. I would tell you, don't look for a business idea. Look for what is the thing that I would love to invest my time in learning, because you can turn that today into a business. Like I told, and it's a winding road, however it'll go, right? Guy and I started down this path because we wanted to learn marketing to become coaches, okay? That derailed us. We ended up becoming Facebook experts in the process. We ended up starting to run masterminds, creating info products about Facebook and email marketing, all of these things that we were learning that were really making a difference. We started sharing that with the world, and the world responded. And so we knew we were down the right path. And now we just celebrated our 5th year anniversary back in June 22nd of this year. And we're now finally going back to rebranding and just focusing all of our efforts on what it is that we came to do originally, which is coach. So we're doing really, really high level coaching, $50,000 a year and up coaching is our packages. We have some group coaching products that are much more reasonable at like the $297 a month range. And now we get to, like, we've spent 5 years building a stage and a presence and a brand that people love and want to follow and want to learn from. And that's what it took. It took 5 years. If I told you that you can spend 5 years pursuing something that you truly love, and at the end of 5 years, you'll be making multiple 7 figures and get to do what you love on your own terms, that's the question. Is that worth you investing your time, money, and energy in doing? Because look, the next 3, 5, 10 years, they're coming. It doesn't matter what you do. You can sit on your ass, or you could do the same thing that you're doing, and you know exactly what kind of results that's going to produce, or you have to maybe take a few steps back, look at the big picture, and think, okay, well, what's something that I'd actually really enjoy doing, and do that thing. So I would ask the question differently. You can build a business doing anything. if you're passionate about TVs, you can sell TVs. If you're passionate about wallets, you can make a wallet. Like, it doesn't matter. You can make money doing anything today.
Mm-hmm.
And to Dr. Villa's point, he says he's been a profession, he's been very successful, but now that he's in retirement, he can't seem to hit the right ball. First of all, I think that's part of the process, right? Like, you're starting to play a new sport, doctor, right? It's like you played that sport, you spent years honing your craft so that you can become successful. Always think about that. Mastery does not happen overnight. It happens in incremental steps over a long period of time. If I said to you, hey, I wanted to practice the same practice that you had, you'd laugh at me right now. You'd be like, all right, go to school for the next, 7-10 years, and then practice that for another 5 to 7 years, and, maybe you'll do something. It's just what it is. Like, you can't think that you're going to get up to bat and just crack a home run. Like, you'll strike out and you'll hit a bunch of foul balls before you find that right thing. It's just, that's why, again, I go back to, what is it that you're already spending your time learning? What is it that you're already spending your time researching and investigating? Because you're already smarter at that than the majority of other people. Put some tools, skills around that, and build a business around that.
True story.
And that's all I got to say about that.
So guys, any questions, any insights, anything you want to ask us about getting started, about what the ride might look like for you? Obviously, we don't know exactly what your ride would look like, but we could at least offer some words of experience based on what we've been through. So we're happy to, really take anything that you want to throw at us and see what we can do with it. And if you're not clear, by the way, at the top left corner over there, you have a Q&A chat box. You can really drop them into either right now because we have a pretty small group here.
Doc, did that make did what I said actually make sense to you? And Veronica and Darren would love to hear from you guys. Let us know what brought you here. Awesome. What brought you here? Why SFM piqued your interest? What is it that you're out there seeking? Yep.
And for those of you guys, look, I'll tell you this, you have, if you decide to move forward with SFM, you literally have zero to lose. So if you know this is something you at least want to entertain, whether you're like an absolute yes right now, or yeah, I want to, but I just want to kind of check it out first and see what's going on. It's a really simple process with Six Figure Mentors. P.S. We're trainers within the community. So I think the best way to think about Six Figure Mentors is like an online university, okay? And there are mentors or educators within the community. You're looking at two of them right here. So we do weekly webinars for marketing training and developmental mindset training for the entire community. And there are other membership levels within the community, one of which is called the Gold membership level. And Elon and I facilitate both, it's a much smaller, intimate type of training for people in terms of working directly on their business and what they're doing. And we also facilitate live events. So we're going to go to Vegas at the end of this September to go speak at an event for 2 days. And that'll be on marketing, business, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So Elon and I do, I don't know, it's roughly 14 hours of speaking for those 2 days. So, but there's other trainers within the organization at, varying degrees and levels. Your next step for anybody is just to take an application with Six Figure Mentors. That puts you into the system. That gives you access to actually look at what's back there. And you're also going to get a phone call from one of their business development managers, and they'll literally talk to you directly about, why is you joined, that you'll fill out the short questionnaire. So they'll have some information on you, and they'll find out more about you, and they'll let you know if where you are in life, if this is a proper fit, just like we are. So it just gives them a little bit more background information. And from there, it's up to you whether you want to become a full-fledged member and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go through the whole process and procedure, but that's what there is to do. So if you're in that place, I'm going to just get you a link super quick here. And get this. and I'll drop it in the chat box. You guys can click on that. So just go there, and let me just double check that that's working. Yeah, that should take you right out to the to a checkout page that'll put your application into the system. Okay. Yeah, and again, we're happy to take questions. So cool. So Mark is asking, can you explain where Satori Prime fits in versus six-figure mentors? Yeah, very, very simply. So we still use a six-figure mentor system, obviously, as we've expressed, this community, this education, we earn a good living inside these walls. However, Satori Prime is our personal company. So our personal company, we do developmental training. So we do like mindset and personal and human development training. It's like stuff with like linguistics and neuroscience and meditation, a whole bunch of other things that Elon and I are really fascinated by and have been training people in for over 14 years. So we have our own company, and that's our brand. So we kind of have like two things that we do. Because look, once you learn these skills, it's not like you're limited by what you can do. You can absolutely resell a six-figure mentor system if you want. If that's not your cup of tea and you just want to use it for educational purposes, there's a very big internet world out there. Like Elon said, if you're interested in painting and you want to share your mastery of painting, there are people who are willing to pay for how to do painting classes online, and you can build a whole business around that. The structure of marketing and sales online doesn't vary that much from niche to niche. So once you have this education, you're free to do with it whatever you like. Do we recommend that you use the SFM system as a resale tool? Absolutely. It's super high quality, and it's going to give you a sales funnel that to build on your own would take a lot of time and a lot of investment and a lot of education. So you can basically use SFM as like a earn while you learn type of model. And we really recommend that you do that because your potential for earning a lot of income much quicker it's head and shoulders, right? To study everything and learn all the little ancillary things that you'll need to know about online marketing, depending on where you are in your education, how frustrated or not frustrated you get by learning new things, that could take 6 months, that could take 2 years. That really is dependent upon yourself. So it's taken us a while to build a global recognized brand around Satori Prime, figure out exactly who we are in the marketplace and the type of value that we want to deliver. But that's kind of this distinction there. So we still are Satori Prime, and we still promote six-figure mentors because we believe in it. And also, like Elon and I, like I said, are all about developmental training. And what we see with six-figure mentors over and over again is that this just creates transformation for people. So for us, it perfectly aligns with what our goal and missions are.
And just so you guys understand, when we say this is a university, it really is like a university. It's just teaching you a new life skill that is getting you ready for the future that is coming. I mean, I don't think any of us can argue with the fact that the world is moving at a really, really fast pace. Jobs are getting, shipped off either abroad or to robots or computers. Like, things are changing fast. So you're either going to make yourself useful or you're not. And this is a way to kind of like future protect yourself. People have done all sorts of things. People in this community have built yoga businesses, brick and mortar, like clothing businesses. Other people have built companies that do social media marketing for others. Other people have become coaches, physical trainers. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. The education itself can be used on anything. Literally on anything. It's just, if you were to go and build a, let's say, personal training business, okay, today, and if you don't know how to market that business, the whole world of if you build it, they will come, that's a myth. Like, just because you have an amazing idea and you put some widget together, honestly, and excuse my French, no one gives a shit. They just don't. So what are you going to do to make him give a shit? That's really what you need to focus on. And if sales, okay, sales for a business are oxygen, okay? A business cannot sustain itself without sales, okay? Marketing are the lungs. Marketing are what create the oxygen. So to think that you can build a business without knowing this stuff or having a lot of money to hire someone to do it for you, you are delusional. And I don't care what it is that you want to do. You know, people join network marketing companies because it's a small little barrier to get in, and they sell you this amazing, like, oh, you'll never have to work a day in your life. Just talk to your friends and family, blah, blah, blah. But the truth of the matter is the people that succeed and truly succeed in those businesses are people that understand this. A friend of ours, this kid actually, who we got started in the game when he was 20 years old, is now 25. He went on and started, get this, he started selling water filtration machines. Okay, the machine sits on your countertop. They sell for $5,000 and it filters your water. Okay. Within a year, him and his buddy, less than a year actually. No, what am I saying? Within 2 months, right? They reached the highest level.
Something like that. Yeah, I know he just won some award.
Within 2 months of the company, they had reached a level that the closest person to them, all doing it like the old school, you know, whatever way to make sales, took 7 years to get there. They did it in 2 months, knowing this skill. In a year, they've outsold everyone in the company. In a year, knowing the skills. Now, granted, he spent 4+ years learning this skill set, and then he just applied it to something where he saw an opportunity. He was like, wow, this is really clever. We can do something with this. Built a whole business around it in less than 30 days, packaged it, put it out there, and now they're the top earners in the company. It's just insane what you could do with this. All right, so Veronica wrote, quite scared of scams. I'm a nurse. Thank you for doing that, Veronica. I was raised up to work hard for money. So are we. By the way, we're immigrants, so we only immigrated to this country.
We don't come from affluency.
Yeah. Russian parents. We were born in Israel, and then we moved here in '89. So we came here with nothing, like watch my parents hustle and work harder than any other human being, which, by the way, is a good thing and a bad thing. We can get into that in a second. What you say sounds like a dream. After how long I can see results of my work? How do I get to know all the steps to move forward? What's the first step to take? So that's the link that Guy put up right above you, the lifestyle-entrepreneurs.co/app. You can click on that. The process is very simple. And by the way, Veronica, just before I go down that route, I want to tell you that a huge breakthrough for us in our business was actually realizing that working hard for money, like having to really work hard for money, was just a story that we programmed in our heads from watching our parents live a certain life, right? There's a difference between working smart for money and working hard for money. And for us to kind of reach, I remember we kind of like started plateauing and we were just grinding until we kind of had to realize that because of that mental thought, like you have to work hard for money, when you start doing things differently and you start working smart because you get all these tools, it doesn't feel like hard work anymore. And when you don't feel like you're working hard the way that you've been programmed to work hard, quote unquote, it almost feels like it's not right. And when it feels like it's not right, you're going to self-sabotage yourself. And so we really had to get over a hurdle of, you know, working hard for money is just a story. I'm not saying you don't have to work hard. Just hear me out on this. There's a way to strategically work, to invest your time and money and energy in things that can actually make a difference. But a lot of us get stuck in the grind of it because we subconsciously, this voice in our head goes, well, if you don't work 10 hours a week, then you're a slacker, right? And that's wrong. I mean, there's science behind how wrong that is.
I also just want to mention, guys, like, you know, we work from a really different paradigm now. I mean, Elon and I used to be, you know, in that space. We never were really like corporate people, but, you know, we did the 9 to 5, and Elon and I were in commercial real estate for a long time. When the economy crashed, we were in the industry that was probably one of the hardest hit industries. I lost everything. Elon lost everything. I moved back in with my parents. Elon's house was in foreclosure. IRS pulling money out of his bank account, literally like yanking money out of his bank account.
It was not pretty.
And his first child on the way all while this was happening. So like, we're kind of like the zero to hero story. And this all happened from 2010 to basically today. Like just ruined our debt, ruined our credit, like everything. Everything you don't want to happen happened. And it was the most wonderful opportunity to go and look how to step into a new space that really mattered to us. So like we work in a really different paradigm now because we've been out of that space for 5.5 years, basically. And in the traditional models, you walk into a place, they hire you, and they tell you how much you're worth. And they put a number or value on you, and they said, this is what your hour of time is worth to us, right? And you have to give back more than they're paying you, essentially. In that place, again, you have to ask for time off. You have to do this. You have to do that. Like for the most part, you're kind of just like carrying out commands and doing things. We live in a really different place where because of the things we've learned, we get to determine where we want to be in terms of our personal value per hour, okay? So let's say like Elon and I choose that $1,000 per hour is where we want to be. And by the way, our number is higher at this point in time. And it's not to say that you're going to hit that number immediately, but like you have to look at how do I get from somebody who's worth to be $20, $30, $40 an hour to somebody who can earn $1,000 for an hour of my time. And that means that you have to invest something in terms of your education and in terms of the value that you can give other people back within a 60-minute time period to that person is worth $1,000 and they're getting a lot more back in return, right? And that's what the online space is kind of opening up is a really new paradigm in terms of thinking about personal value and how you can give back to people in a really big way. And for some of you guys, you just don't care about that. That's not what this business is about for you. You want to put money in your pocket. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that either way. Some people might say, well, that's not altruistic, whatever. If that's your game, play your game. If you want to do stuff that matters to other people, do stuff that's going to matter to other people. So all that stuff you can produce on your way. Are you going to understand every nook and cranny of this business by the time you get off this webinar? Hell no, right? I just want to talk to one thing, right? Like everybody's scared of scams. We understand that. We're two guys online. I hope that you guys get our passion, and I believe we're really authentic people, and I'll leave that for your own determination, right? Like I said, one way or the other, will we make money if you join the company? Absolutely. Will our lives change by you joining the company? It won't. We're doing very well for ourselves, and we're good. As far as scams are concerned, I guess you got to look for yourself. What do you consider a scam? I see people come into these organizations, do nothing, and then blame everyone that nothing happened. No one's going to build a business for you. Not me, not Elon, not the company owners, not any other mentor. It's up to you to step up and do some work. There is no foolproof system out there. There is sure as hell no click button system that spits out millions of dollars out of your computer. And if you guys see those kind of things, I urge you not to buy them and run in the opposite direction. This is a real community, a real education. If your definition of scam is someone takes your money and then produces nothing on the opposite end, to me, that's a scam. Okay? I promise you, if you put your money in and you just show up, right, for like the trainings every day, for me, like, I don't know how you could call that a scam. What you do with the education, once you have it, and you take no action, that's on you. That's not on anybody else. So if that's your concern, I would just say, like, it depends on how you approach what you're looking at. As far as results in your work, again, that varies greatly depending on how much time you're going to allocate towards your business. Are you going to treat it like a hobby? Are you going to treat it like a real thing? And the beautiful part is you're part of a community, and I think that's not spoken nearly enough. People think of this as like a business opportunity, and in many ways it is. However, like for me, what's much more important is the community structure and the education structure. If you were to go at it alone, I promise you, going on YouTube and trying to buy a course here or a course there and piecemealing this thing together is really, really, really hard, especially because there's so much misinformation out there. Having a community of people who are all driving in the same direction so that you can rely on the experience of the people that came before you, who've already gone through that process. Everybody goes through the same process. Everybody. You can't circumvent 6 months of experience or a year's worth of experience. So what the great part is that when you're stuck, when you're plateauing, you have this amazing community that you can lean on and say, hey, look, this is what I'm dealing with right now. And there's hundreds, if not thousands of people who could chime in and say, hey, yeah, I remember when I dealt with that. Here's what I did about that. And that's a really, really big thing. And I believe in tribe community structure. It really does work. So, I don't know if you're considering other things, whatever, but I think those are one of the big, huge advantages of being part of a company like this.
Yeah. It's really, really difficult to do this on your own. Just really difficult. I mean, to Veronica's point before, right? You're surrounded. Think about this. You go to work, You're surrounded by other nurses, okay? I'm sure the conversation around the coffee, table or like water cooler, whatever you want to call it, isn't enlivening, isn't like, oh my God, my life is so absolutely amazing. I can't wait to be at work. It's just not. And it's not people, they're just resigned, most people, to this is how it is. So if you want to make a shift, right, you need to surround yourself with people who are on that journey. You need to surround yourself with people who are now opening their consciousness and going, wow, this is possible. And that starts becoming your reality. What we just told people, we just came off a training literally 30 minutes before we started here with you guys on the SFM. And one of the things that we were talking about is when people sign up for this, what you're signing up for, be very clear about this, is a personal transformation. Everything in your life will get better, not just your bank account. You will sleep better. You will be healthier. You will have better relationship with your kids and your parents and your loved ones. You just will. Why? Because you will realize that the only way to build a multiple 6- and 7-figure business is for you to handle yourself. To kibosh the limiting beliefs of like working hard. To kibosh all of these limiting things about scams and what relationships are and could be. You're going to surround yourself with people who think at a much different level. And it will just absolutely transform every aspect of your life. So just to answer your question, Veronica, from before, what's the process? Here's how we make it super duper schmooper easy. There's an application and it costs $29.95. That allows you to come into the system. You'll talk to our business consultants and coaches. You're going to get to preview what the system looks like. You're going to get to see some of the training calls. You're going to get to see the back office. You're going to get to see what the whole thing looks like, okay? You're not going to be able to use the system in a way where you can like market it or anything like that, but you'll get to see the training and
by the way, I can log in there and have them take a preview.
Yeah, you could do that while I'm even talking. Yeah. And you'll get to see all of it. And then at that point, you can choose, like, do I like these people? Does this sound good to me? Do I hate the way these guys dress? Or his accent is funny and I could never listen to him for a year. Whatever it is, right? Like, you're an adult. You can make adult decisions, okay? But at least, like, if this is something that's resonating with you, to spend $29.95 and 30 days investigating, my question is like, if you're not in a place where you want to be, then why the hell not at least try? You have nothing to lose. If in that 30-day period, you're like, this is absolutely not for me. I hate you guys are fabulous, still not for me. It doesn't matter to us. You simply contact support and you're like, listen, this not for me. You'll get your entire $29.95 back.
Yeah, so just quickly, just so you guys have some context while Elon's talking. So what I'm showing you, this is the live training schedule for the entire week and months out. Like, this is all scheduled ahead of time. I mean, so we have everything here from like daily wake-up calls. There's an amazing guy named JJ who's just an absolute stud when it comes to like mindset, motivation, inspiration. Awesome to wake up to every single day, gets your juices going. We have Danielle Wilson who's teaching marketing every week. We teach marketing and mindset. We have the company owners, Jay and Stu, doing trainings all the time. So it's like there's always live stuff happening within our organization. That's why we say, like, you show up and you're part of a community every single day that you can rely on to be here for you. And for me, that's honestly, I think that's the best part. As far as the back office is concerned, I don't know what you guys' knowledge in marketing is, so I'm not going to get too far into it. But we have they've developed software here. We call it our Digital Business Lounge. And there's software here that things that used to take Elon and I days to do now takes minutes, and they've been developed in-house. So things that create websites for you within a matter of minutes, things that create landing pages, sales pages, things that do tracking for you, teaches you how to use WordPress, outsourcing writing. So if you're concerned about writing content or anything like that, that's all back here. So that's pretty awesome. I mean, it's like, all the different membership levels, tons of training, blogging. It's just like an endless resource of helping you. And we always say, like, come to the trainings over and over again until you're like bored and you're like, oh, I already know this stuff. Because when you know this stuff, that means you're starting to get proficient at it. So I think you have to consider that something like this, if you have no experience with it, is a lot like learning a new language. And I think that, the doctor could probably chime on this too, is that no matter what, nurses, doesn't really matter what field you're in, there's specialized terminology to every single field. And when you go to school to learn specialized terminology. There are certain things that doctors say to each other that I don't understand, or that nurses say to each other that I don't understand, because that's specialized terminology for that field. Now, even if I know that word, the definition of that word to me and to the doctor probably means two completely different things. So in the marketing realm, it's the same exact thing. You need to understand the specialized terminology, and that specialized terminology gives you access to a paradigm that people who aren't in that conversation just don't have access to. And that makes a whole bunch of stuff available to you that people, again, who don't have that, won't have access to that. And it's really just simple as that. So we're here to teach you the language of marketing, of sales, of personal development, of all those things, like Elon said, that it seeps into every area of life, because you're going to have to develop yourself while you're developing your business. It's just simple as that. Okay. Any other questions, comments, insights from anybody? And if not, I'll drop that link in here one more time for you guys. So lifestyleentrepreneurs.co/app. You can click on it. You can save it for later. Whatever's good for you. If you want to do more research, feel free. For those of you guys who are going to take action on it, we look forward to welcoming you into our community. If you have any more questions that you want to ask us, you can actually email support@lifestyle-entrepreneurs.co, same domain you see down there. I can even punch it in there for you. Super quick. And we'll be able to, you'll be able to, directly communicate with us, and we can help you out if there's something that you need. But again, it's a really simple first step. Take the application. There's really nothing to lose. If you hate it, love it, doesn't really matter. You can always go get your money back. It's 100% refundable. So if you are interested, my assertion would be go take that first step and then get the process going. And yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for taking your time to be here with us today. I really hope that you got some value out of this. And if you have any follow-up questions whatsoever, just make sure you email us, support@lifestyle-entrepreneurs.com, and we'll be more than happy to answer any and all of your questions. And yeah, looking forward to connecting with you guys. Have an amazing rest of your week.
Cool, guys. Thank you for being here. Enjoy your day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.